Kita basah kan. Oh, dia explain lah kalau abang tengok. Aku bahan ni. Oh, cantik tipu. Kemai.
Selamat datang ke Kolej Kejuruteraan.
Yang berbahagia, Professor Insinyur Dr. Wan Azhar Wan Yusuf, Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia Pahang. Yang berbahagia, Professor Technologist Dr. Rosli Hainin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International. Yang berbahagia, Professor Technologist Dr. Kamal Zuhairi Zamli, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation. Yang berbahagia, Profesor Dato Technologist Dr. Yusri Zainuddin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs and Alumni, Mr. Hazmin bin Aris, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Zainuddin Othman, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Azman Abdurahim, Chief Librarian, all representatives from international universities such as International University of Africa, Khartoum, Sudan, King Abdulaziz University, Saudi Arabia, King Saud University, Saudi Arabia, King Fahad University of Petroleum and Minerals, Omdurman Islamic University of Sudan, University of Hail, Saudi Arabia, Jawzan University of Afghanistan, Sudan University of Science and Technology, Al-Fasir Universities of Sudan. All representatives from Malaysian universities and educational institutes. All representatives of industrial partners. All deans, head of departments in UMP, academicians, professionals, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and selamat sejahtera. We are blessed today to have a Majlis Syarahan Umum Professor or Professor Inaugural lectures of Professor Dr. Abdurahman Hamid Nour. At first, I would like to thank all the following persons and units for making this professorial lecture possible, especially Professor Datu, Technologist Dr. Rosli Muhammad Yunus, for initiating this talk and making a lot of efforts to make it possible. Pejabat Naib Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic and International, Bahagian Pengurusan Akademik, Penerbit UMP, and College of Engineering. So here is a biography of Professor Abdurahman Hamid Nour. Professor Abdurahman Hamid Nour was born on 1st January 1968 in Al Fasir, Sudan, and was the sixth of 9 siblings. He received his primary education until secondary higher education in Al Fasir from 1974 to 1987. In 1988, he received a scholarship from Libya to pursue degree in petroleum engineering at University of Al-Pati, Libya. Upon graduation, he pursued his first Master of Science in Faculty of Chemical and Environmental Engineering in University Putra, Malaysia. Not content with that, he continued with second Master of Science in Petroleum Engineering in Aalborg University of Denmark. He then did a PhD from 2004 to 2006 at University Technology Malaysia. Professor Dr. Abdurahman Hamid Nour started his academic career in 2007 as a visiting lecturer in University Malaysia Pahang UMP Gambang. Later in the same year, he was appointed as a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Chemical and Natural Resources Engineering. He was promoted to associate professor in 2009 and to a full professor in 2014. In his administration capacity, Professor Abdurahman was appointed as a head of cluster for separation cluster. He also served as a deputy dean of research and development in the Faculty of Chemical and Natural Resources Engineering for 2 terms, from 2012 to 2016. With his strong dedication and commitment to work, Professor Abdurahman was awarded Excellent Service Award in 2012. Professor Abdurahman has led several research projects with a cumulative budget of 3.8 million ringgit. Among the largest grant obtained by Prof. Abdurahman was from international company Eastern Unity Technology, amounting of 850,000 ringgit in 2019 and 1 million ringgit in 2021. He has presented and published over 450 publications in local and industrial international arena. He supervised to completion 14 PhD students, 24 master students to date. Professor Abdurahman also actively participated in local and international exhibitions. Among various awards that he received throughout his participation in such events was the Best Invention of British Innovation Show in London in 2013, Best of the Best Henry Goh Award in the ITEC 2013, and he won gold medal in ITEC 2014, 15, and 16, as well as gold medal in Malaysian Technology Expo in 2019 and 2020. He also won a gold medal in Korean Inventor Award Festival in 2014. Professor Abdurahman also received a Doctor of Honorary Letters from International Biographical Center, Cambridge in 2014. To his credit, Professor Abdurahman has 11 granted patents, 2 of it already commercialized and purchased by international company. So I think we will have a short montage to highlight career Professor Abdurahman coming. Thank you.
Well, assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Thank you, my friend Professor Julius, for the long introduction. First and foremost, I would like to express my greatest pleasure for the successful planning and execution of this talk. I'm glad that through a hard work and commitment from my organizing committee, we are able to penetrate all the difficulties and make the journey is a reality. It has been an interesting and life learning journey for me to work with such a wonderful people. There is a lot of difficulties along the way, but with commitment, patience, determination, enthusiasm, we are able to penetrate all the difficulties and make today's talk is a reality, and all of you here to share the benefit of this talk. I want to thank all departments of University Malaysia Pahang who has contributed directly or indirectly to for success of this talk. Today, today's talk is microwave assisted extraction for bioactive compound and separation for crude oil emulsion. As it is a public talk and the people with the different backgrounds, so I will try to put my talk in very simple way in order everyone can the benefit of this one. With increasing energy crisis and prices and drive to reduce the CO2 emission and to reduce the consumption of the energy, universities and industrials are in the challenge to find new ways and new technologies to reduce the consumptions of energy. I have been working in this research for the last 15 years. I want to quickly summarize some of our research because since people have different backgrounds, summarize the talk outcome before I go for the details. My first research starts with the bioactive extraction of bioactive compound from raw plants using microwave rather than the conventional method, because the normal or the conventional way to extract the bioactive compound is disadvantageous from both economic and environmental prospects. So in order to use the bioactive compound with the route, either you are using the leaf or use the seeds or the stem or roots, whatever you use, the conventional method has some disadvantages. So my research is shifted to the microwave. But why you use the microwave? That's one of the first part of my talk. The second part of the talk, because one of the current, all the focus people that are working that one, the crude oil, the transportation, drilling, production, transportation, and processing of the crude oil. This phenomena is occur throughout in all stages of the products production. That's why I use a lot of, as my friend Prof. Julius said, that's industrial grants. There's a lot of research grant. I use that grant to purchase the commercial and existing surfactant and emulsifiers and demulsifiers doing for the research for the last 15 years. But I come to the point that the conventional and the commercial surfactants, there is a lot of disadvantages in terms of the costing and environmental. So like you solve your problem to create another problem, and that is you didn't solve the problem. So that is the turning point of my research. And I came up with two products, and I'm very proud to announce that two of UMP the products has been commercialized, and the third one in the final stage to be commercialized within 2 months. That is the conclusion. That is the summary of my talk. Then, as I said to you, some people have a different background, so hopefully some terminologies when it's come to that point, I will try to put it in the simple way to get any benefit for that one. So I will start my talk. So the microwave, that is one of the microwave assisted extraction is an efficient method, which is involve driving natural compound from the raw plants or the raw materials. That is one of the things. Also, microwave extraction allow organic compounds to extract more rapidly with the similar or better yield in terms of the yield. And also, microwave, if you compare the conventional methods, in terms of the time consuming, in terms of the fasting, is more better and also save more bioactive compound compared to the bioactive. Whether the disadvantages of the conventional methods, they have a high energy consumption, high cost, long extraction time, also use the toxic extractant, and also lost the volatile, especially if you use the high temperature. So you are going to lose the volatile compound unless you have the fixed compound, whether if you use high temperature, that will fit your extraction. But if you volatile, so that's one of the drawback also the conventional. Also thermal degradation. One of the things why the microwave is better than the conventional, because in terms of heat transfer and mass transfer, in the conventional methods or conventional heating, we have the concept of heat transfer, conduction and convection, then radiation is the last part of the conventional method, which is to prolong the time and prolong the costing and all this. While we use the microwave, we have radiation direct, and heat transfer is coming from in to out, while for the conventional method, the heat is come from out to in, which is takes conduction and convection, while its mass is come from in to out. So that is a contradict when you use the conventional methods, while my microwave is heat and mass, they come from in to out. That is one of the advantage of the microwave. Also, microwave in terms of the extraction is very fast heating, green technology, produce high amount of the oxidative, then also short extraction time. These are the advantage of microwave. And in terms of the heat and mass transfer, microwave is heat and mass, they come from in to out. So that accelerate the extraction of the. In my research, I modified I think everyone has a microwave at home, but I modify this microwave and make fix the turntable of microwave and make some modification of this is a microwave. Then when the energy exposed, we have three possibilities. Either the container of that, if the container is a metal, so the microwave couldn't able to penetrate, so reflect. And that is not in my case. And also, if the container is fully transferred, when you expose the microwave, the microwave is penetrate the container and go through. Also, that's not the case of my research. So since I deal with the fluid, liquid is a polar, and magnetic is not polar. Then the fluid we use the fluid, and for instance, use the water. Water in the natural is the form of V, the two hydrogen carbon and oxygen. So oxygen is the polar, non-polar, and hydrogen is the polarity. So I take the polarity of the hydrogen with the water, then use the extraction for that. So that's one of the. Also, the application of one of the application in the grant of the, and the results are very promising when you use the microwave. However, so in terms of the qualitative and quantitative of this the natural products, so we use the many devices or equipments to check the quality of the product. Then the second part of my research, as I said, the oil and gas technology, which is the crude oil production, transportation, and separation in the process. So for my research, I have used the 5 commercial. But one of the phenomena in this area is the emulsion. So this emulsion, because we have through crude oil, and crude oil is the impurities of the hydrocarbons, the water, gas, and oil. This, from thermodynamic point of view, they have a different backgrounds and properties. So it's easy to separate this, whether this phenomena can occur during the drilling of the crude oil, or in the processing, or in the pipeline, even in the processing or in the refinery. So this phenomena is occur in all stages of the oil processing. So the presence of the water in the crude oil is cause a lot of problems in terms of the corrosion, in terms of the reduce the quality of the crude oil, reduce the production of the. So how to deal with that the phenomena? So we have the emulsion, 2 immiscible fluids. One is coming as dispersed, and the other as the continuous. Then we can categorize this either in terms of the water in oil or oil in water, or in terms of the size of the emulsion, in terms of the size. Then also we have the agents. So the commercial agents, I will show you how to, in terms of the characteristics. Should you have the good surface activity? Should also have form to very condensed interfacial in order to make the water, oil, and gas as a one unit, do not separate, especially during the transportation from the production zone till to refinery. So the categories, as I mentioned earlier, either in the whether in oil or oil in water. So all is depends on the natural, because the crude oil is come with the natural products. We call it SARA, saturated asphaltene, resin, and waxes. So the quality of that, it depends on the hydrophilic, lipophilic balance of the surfactants. Also, we have the emulsion in terms of the type of the emulsion testing for the emulsion based on the we have a dye test, dilution, either electrical conductivity, or we use the refractive and filter paper test in order to find the stability. But the main issue of all this produced emulsion is the stability, because we have the 3 different fluid liquid, whether you have the gas, oil, and water. So these 3, they coming with a very heavy surfactants, and when you put it in the pipe, and we have to push with the pumps, so they are separate in the pipe. And in terms of the from the physical properties, the water is heavier than oil, so the water is burned at the bottom of the pipe, and the oil on the top, then the gas on the top of the oil. So this cause water is has carbon dioxide, which is cause the corrosion and cause the damage of the pipe. The challenge is how to solve this issue. So one of the challenges in order to do that one, these are the commercial surfactant I used for the last 15 years. Triton X100, Spain 80, Spain 83, and as the sodium dodecide sulfide, and low silver wax residue. These are the current commercial surfactant used for the transportation or stabilization of any crude oil, and also the industrial use this surfactant. But the problem of this, or the drawback of these surfactants, they're high cost and not environmentally friendly. So this is now the question is, can we have an alternative, cost-effective, and natural background surfactant in order to solve that part? So that is the big question. And by the end of this talk, I'm going to answer that question. But again, back to the method of stabilization or the destabilization. As I mentioned, it's either use the heating or use the chemicals, heating in terms of the conventional or microwave, also use the electric or electrical current. But in my research, I use the microwave. So this is the microwave. Then I modify the microwave into 3 parts. Then I put the turntable, the turntable, and my system is become a batch. That is the first part of my research. Then I converted the batch process into the continuous microwave, which is now, as you see in the coil, the coil. Then, and this is the, should be the clear, this is the complete. So we have a tank of oil. Then we have a pump, peristaltic pump. The pump will bring the oil from the tank and put it in the microwave. When expose the microwave, then outside, if you see, we have another tank. It's called settling tank. Then we have a data logger, and we have the system. We measure the temperature and heat. Then we convert the volume of heat generation, the viscosity, and all this. So then, in terms of the if you see, this is the 2 question, the equation, the velocity, and I said the emulsion is the 2 immiscible, and we have the water and oil, and velocity is equal. We have the density of water and oil. Then we have the gravity. The droplet diameter is square, and we have the viscosity of the fluid. As we know, the temperature, the velocity, the viscosity is very sensitive to temperature and the viscosity and density. When increasing the temperature, the density and viscosity of the fluid is reduced, but the viscosity is more sensitive than the density. When increasing the temperature, the viscosity is reduced faster than the density. Only the one here, the gravity is constant. So only the factor here is the droplet size, or the droplet, and this droplet is a square. So means you have the square, that part, and you have the gravity density, so the velocity is increased. When the velocity is increased, that means friction, the movement of the particle is increased. That's cause separation of the 2 fusible, and that's one of the advantage of that. Also, the second equation, we have the volume rate of heat generation in the general energy equation. If this, we have the first part of, we have the conduction, convection, and the third part of this equation, we have the radiation. In the conventional, as I mentioned earlier, they have radiation, they have the conduction and convection. While we use the microwave, the first 2 parts are negligible. So this is also one of the advantage when you use the microwave, because we don't have the heat transfer from point to point, or the conduction, convection, and radiation. So we direct deal with radiation. Also, we have so we apply the microwave, and we get the very good results. But as I said, these are the low silver wax residue, Triton X100, sodium dioxide sulfide, SPEN 80, SPEN 83. These are the current commercial surfactant which is in the market, and I use this for the last 15 years and spend a lot of my research grant. But I come with the point that these are environmentally are not friend and very costly. From the results are they do very well. Yes, you can solve your problem, but where you are going to discharge the waste of these surfactants? That's the big conflict, because the environmental rules and regulations do not allow to discharge any waste or oily direct to that. So you have to obey or have to abide the environmental issues or environmental rules. That is the big question, and that is a turning part of my research. And this is I think that is a more technical part. Let's just go quickly and go for the what we done it or what UMP achieved it for the this is part. So from all what has been for the previous slides, even we do good results, research, we have published a lot, we have the doing, but still the main problem is not over yet. So if you want to have your own product, and you have to have your product is a competitive, environmentally friendly, technically visible, and economically is competitive, you have to have natural background surfactants to solve this or to compete. Otherwise, you will be left behind and always use people's work or people the product. So that is the turning point of our research. We come and UMP, we come to the point that so we produce our two of our surfactant. Then from the lab, we turn it and test it, then scale it up. And one of the most difficult part in the chemical engineering, the scaling up. For instance, if you have the product and the product, for instance, in the 5 liter, then scale it up to 10 to 15. If the properties with the 5 liter is the same as 200 liter, that is a very challenging part. But we're able to do that. Then we produce in the mass. Then we test it, our product. And the fairest application of our product, because sometimes when you have the product, you cannot just claim, and I said, I have a product and my product is good. No, you have to compete your product with the existing surfactants or existing the commercial surfactant, and especially for the transportation of the pipe from the production zone till the refinery. So we tested ours and compare with the existing surfactant, and we found the results are very promising. So one of the objective and invention of our purpose of our product is to produce an efficient and sustainable oil-based surfactant for the stabilization or to create enhanced oil recovery. Also want to scale up, because if you just keep yourself in the lab scale, you are not competing. So how to scale it up from the lab to the optimize and to produce in the big. Also, one of the application of these are now for the last 15 years, as I said, this is a 5 surfactant I use. I compare the price for our UMP product, the product with the conventional, and in terms of the performance, then we compared all this and we tested this with with 3 international the company. Then we come with that in terms of the price. If you see our UMP product is much is less, and also this is a completely we solve the problem of environmental issues, which is this is the background is the natural product, and also our product this is environmentally friendly. This is our product, the final product of the 2 UMP products. The environmentally friendly, economically competitive, technically is visible, also 30% of the reduction of the fuel, then 60% reduction of the emission, and 90% of the 95% is more efficient. So this surfactant has a 2 application. Either you go for the fluid or the fuel, or you go for the transportation of the pipe here. For instance, as I mentioned here, when you have the pipeline and pour the crude in the pipe, so in the pipe there is the oil, water, and gases. So these are with the very heavy heating and the pumping, they are separate in the pipe. So the water is more heavier to be at the bottom of the pipe, and the oil on the top and gas on the top, because they're lighter than one. Water has a CO2, that's the corrosion, and also make the reduction of reduce the cost of reduce of the quality of the product. So then we also commercialize the 2 products, and in the last stage of when you brought the crude oil in the pipeline in the refinery, you need to do the opposite of the stability, which is called demulsification. So demulsification, as I said, either you use the heat or you use the commercial the surfactant. And the last part of my let me just go for the last slide before I turn it off. It's technical. Yeah, that's part of the talk. Yeah, after the commercialization, we commercialized 2 of the product, and the third one in the final stage of our product. And this is the results. Yes, this is the final, and this is all the industrial results. So we compared that one, and also I'm proudly to say that we have a very strong international link, and one of our partners, the Eastern Unity Technology. So UMP bought 2 of our IP, intellectual property, and the third one is in the final stage. So within 2 months' time, we are going to launch the third product of the UMP. And again, we are very proud with that. And the one thing, as I said from the beginning, sometimes when you do the research, when you have to do good, your research is good, you have a product, you need to test your marketability as a researcher. So you send your CV to other universities, international companies, industrials. But frankly speaking, I'm very proud. This is not compliment, but I'm very proud to say that I'm the first international expatriate to join UMP in 2007. And I do believe that this university has a bright future. And I want to be part of that successful. That's why I turn it all the other offers from the universities and industrials. And if I didn't turn those offers, today I wouldn't be able to present my talk. So I'm very proud to be part of this university. I'm very committed. And also I want to just take one advice to my student and my colleague. The most important in the research, you have to have the guts, believe on yourself. You have to have that the determination, commitment, and patience and enthusiasm of that work. Your time is coming. So the most important, you have to be committed on your work. And before I end my talk, I will invite again my colleague, Prof. From Julius, to before just conclude quickly. So this is the surfactant. UMP already has 2 surfactant. The UMP product proven to be very efficient, and compared to the traditional commercial surfactant, 2 of UMP surfactant has been commercialized. Water in crude oil has great importance in the oil industry and should be completely separate before the oil be processed or transported. Also, for chemical demulsifiers, the amine group, which is because in terms of the separation, it becomes the best in terms of the separation. Also, the results show that microwave radiation is very effective tool for the separation. Also, we are able also to have convert the microwave, the batch into continuous microwave. And this, I want to invite my colleague, Prof. Julius, to conclude the talk. Prof. Julius.
Okay, we thank Abdurahman for his impeccable lecture on crude oil emulsions and microwave extraction. Prof. Abdurahman have demonstrated that efficient and effective phytochemicals extraction can be performed using microwave technology. His lecture also successfully demonstrated the successful production of a stable emulsion of crude oil, which was tested both in experimental and pilot scale unit at University Malaysia Pahang. In his project, Professor Abdurahman have commercialized 2 patents on fuel emulsification and heavy emulsion surfactants, and I understand that another product is also coming. So today we learn about these 2 important research area which Prof. Abdurahman have shared to us. Thank you.
Hari yang mulia menjelang tiba, semua gembira, tiada duka lara, bersama-sama bahagia.
Janganlah terleka dengan dunia, tekalkan semua amalan yang mulia. Kita semua adalah sama.
Hari yang mulia menjelang tiba, semua gembira, tiada duka lara, bersama-sama bahagia.
Janganlah lupa Yang Maha Kuasa, Ibu Ayah tercinta. Mari semua raihkan cinta, rasa bahagia hari raya. Bersama berdoa agar sejahtera, semua selamat hari raya. Kitanya lebaran menjadi ingatan, janganlah lupa hari yang esa.
Hari yang mulia menjelang tiba, semua gembira, tiada duka lara,
Bersama-sama bahagia.
Tiada lagi yang ditakuti,
Selagi Tuhan di hati,
ampun maaf jua diberi. Selamat Idul Fitri, selamat Idul Fitri, selamat Idul Fitri.